Hey everyone, AquaTwist here. Recently, I've been catching up on the Ace Attorney games after finishing the original trilogy back in 2020, and it's been a blast and quickly becoming a new favorite franchise of mine. This wouldn't have been possible if Capcom didn't make the sequel trilogy easily accessible on modern platforms after the 3DS eShop was shut down in 2023. As I've been playing through the Ace Attorney games, they can't help but stick with me. The exhilarating trials between each episode, exaggerated mannerisms of all the characters, and over-the-top breakdowns are all enjoyable. Who would have thought that a series focused in the world of law could be this entertaining? Now that I'm older and understand how to play these games better, I've gotten a newfound appreciation of this series. But there's one thing that's been nagging at the back of my mind. Where would the series go next? So today, I want to share some ideas as to what new Ace Attorney games we could get and when we could see them. But first, let's see how Capcom has brought the series to where it is today. In 2019, Capcom remastered the first 3 Ace Attorney games as the Ace Attorney Trilogy for all modern platforms. It's currently the highest selling entry in the franchise, selling almost 4 million units. This makes perfect sense, as this is currently the most easily accessible way for people to get into the series. Sure, the gameplay and portraits are a bit dated, but the original trilogy still holds up today, thanks to the variety of different cases and charm of the characters. The first Phoenix Wright trilogy is iconic, and paved the success for the rest of the franchise. If it wasn't as successful, we may not have gotten more remasters or official localizations of games exclusive to Japan. Which leads us to the great Ace Attorney Chronicles, a duology of prequel games remastered for modern platforms in 2021. These prequel entries were originally released in Japan on the Nintendo 3DS in 2015 and 2017 respectively, featuring the ancestor of Phoenix Wright. I'm surprised Capcom localized this duology first before bringing over the sequel trilogy to modern platforms. And on top of that, it sold 1 million copies, surpassing Capcom's original expectations. According to Capcom's investor website, any of their games which have sold at least 1 million copies is considered a platinum title, which both of their previously mentioned collections fall under. And Ace Attorney as a whole has sold over 12 million copies combined as of September 2024. This means Ace Attorney is viewed as a profitable franchise for Capcom, which they want to continue supporting in the future. So Capcom used the success to give us 2 incredible collections of Ace Attorney games in 2024. The Apollo Justice Trilogy, which includes Apollo Justice, Dual Destinies, and Spirit of Justice. And the Investigations Collection, a duology of spin-off titles featuring Miles Edgeworth, the main prosecutor of the first 3 mainline games. The Investigations Collection is particularly important because it's the first time Capcom released Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Gambit outside of Japan. I'm still shocked both of these released within the same year, especially with how feature-rich they are with a gallery, music player, and animation studio. Look at all these menu options!
These look great!
Because of these, I think Capcom wants to give people plenty of time to catch up with the series. Even if you only play the mainline games, it will easily take you over 100 hours to complete them all. But now that Investigations 2 has been officially localized for the West, every game in the franchise is easily playable on all platforms.
Objection!
Well, except for one. Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright, which came out on the 3DS back in 2014. And as of this video, the only way to play it legally is buying it physically on the secondhand market. And yeah, it's pretty pricey. So the next logical Ace Attorney game to remaster would be this one, right? Well, yeah. With New World of Steam supposedly coming out this year, Layton's going to be on people's minds more throughout 2025. So now's the time to take advantage of that and put Layton out in the forefront more. However, since 2019, Capcom's been remastering Ace Attorney games in collections, and never standalone. I can see Capcom remastering just this game with the same level of quality as the 2024 collections without adding more value to the package. So what if Capcom made a sequel using the same engine as the Apollo Justice Trilogy? Granted, both of these are non-canon and have a more niche appeal compared to the mainline games and other spin-offs, but it would be exciting to see a new entry in the series again. They could bring in the characters from New World of Steam as well as some of the newer characters like in Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. But this is nothing compared to what fans really want. Ace Attorney 7. It's been 9 years since Spirit of Justice. The latest mainline entry came out on the Nintendo 3DS. Although Spirit of Justice was the end of the Dark Age of the Law arc, that doesn't mean the franchise is done for good. I think Capcom's been releasing these collections to garner interest and see how successful this franchise still is today. Ace Attorney 7 was apparently leaked all the way back in 2020 and originally set to release in 2021, according to a Capcom data breach. This same graphic also shows the estimated development and release of Daigyakuden Saiban 1 and 2, or the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles in the West, and Apollo Justice Trilogy, the latter which released during a quote, gap in the market. Now that Apollo Justice Trilogy is out, Ace Attorney 7 is due to come out any moment now. But when could we see it? In 2026, Ace Attorney is turning 25, so this would be a perfect time to celebrate the franchise's legacy with something new. I know not all big anniversaries are celebrated, but if Capcom was to pick one to release a new game in, 25 would be one they wouldn't want to miss. And with that said, what could Ace Attorney 7 be? Granted, I haven't gotten the Spirit of Justice yet, but from what I've seen, I think I have an idea. What if Ace Attorney 7 featured Athena Sykes as the lead role? Although she was a major character in Dual Destinies, it would be awesome if she was the primary lawyer, with a couple more years of experience. There's a lot of potential to introduce new gameplay mechanics with her too. They could easily expand upon the Moon Matrix segments and integrate it into the investigation sequences, instead of only using them during trials. What if she combined her technology with Emma Sky to discover new detective techniques? Capcom could easily repeat Apollo Justice, where they introduce new characters and bring back some old ones. Older Gumshoe anyone? The question then becomes, is this the start of yet another trilogy focusing on Athena Sykes, or is this a one-time thing? With development cycles typically taking longer than ever before, it's difficult to say. But because this game will be on hardware 2 generations past its previous entry, Capcom will want to evolve the series forward as much as possible. So I can see them shaking up the art style to bring it up to modern standards. There's 2 routes I can see Capcom going. 1, they could take a page from Arc System Works and fully embrace the 3D anime aesthetic. Dragon Ball FighterZ and Guilty Gear Strive breathe new life into 3D animation. They can make you feel like you're playing an episode of an anime, which Capcom seems to be going for, especially in Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice, where they added in 2D animated cutscenes in between segments. I know 3D models are more appealing to mass audiences, but they've been getting kinda stale. Personally, they're a bit stiff and older reused animations don't look right when done in 3D. Look at the 2D portraits in Apollo Justice. They added in more detail than in the original trilogy, and it hurts to see this art style not being expanded on further since then. So if Capcom's going to continue using 3D models for the characters, going the Arc 6 inspired route would be a nice change of pace. And 2, what I'd want personally is for Capcom to take a page from the Famicom Detective Club remix, return to the 2D portraits of the first 4 games, but give them more life. Add in subtle details like breathing animations or eye movements. There's a possibility in this too, with the resurgence of 2D hand-drawn art styles in games like Thank Goodness You're Here, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, and The Plucky Squire. There's definitely an audience for 2D animations in modern games. Anyways, if we don't get a full-on Ace Attorney 7, what else could we see instead? I wouldn't mind another investigations game or a new spin-off entirely. I personally love the investigations games. Getting to actually walk around the areas and examine the scene of the crime instead of a point-and-click style is nice, and I wish the mainline games did this too. Investigations also gives characters like Miles and Gumshoe more time to shine than they would normally, and I appreciate them more than ever before. Maybe an origin story of Phoenix Wright to see more of his earlier life before becoming a lawyer. A detective game featuring Gumshoe and Emma. There's a lot of potential to expand this universe, and it would be cool to see a bit more of it, even if it doesn't include Phoenix. Spin-offs including the investigations games work because they have the core DNA of the franchise while having new mechanics and twists to keep them feeling fresh. But what do you think? Can Ace Attorney return with new games? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to see more commentary videos like this. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.
Objection!